How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to go ahead and take my Nazgul deck the other day, the blue-black one led by the Lord of the Nazgul, and try to make it work on Arena without the Lord of the Nazgul. Unfortunately, the Lord of the Nazgul is a commander-only card from one of the precons, so we're going to have to make do with a different Lord of the Rings commander, but it actually works out in our favor. So this is my Of Rings and Wraiths deck that I have on Arena, and I'm using the Mouth of Sauron for the commander here, so let's take a look and see what he does. It's an uncommon, so it's a little bit easier to get your hands on. It's the Mouth of Sauron, 3 colorless, a blue and a black, 3/4 human advisor that says when it enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards, then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of instants and sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. So one of the common things you're going to see is I'm going to be checking graveyards to try to maximize this. I don't care if I'm doing it to myself or if I'm doing it to a player, because I can either reanimate with some of my mass reanimation spells, or I can just mill my opponent, mess their deck up, and get a big honking orc out of it in the process. So the deck is broke down into my usual categories of how I do this. First column is all about protection spells. It's things to keep my stuff alive, bring them back from the grave if they die, because the key to this deck are the Nazgul. You got to keep these things on the board or keep them alive in some way, shape, or form, and this is how we're going to go about doing it. The second column is removal and tempoing spells, things that either bounce, kill, or counter that I have in the deck that do various things. But I also have Glorious Gale in here as the specific counter in here because it's a ring tempt card. We also have things like Finale of Eternity to go ahead and kill our opponent's stuff to get them out of the way so the Nazgul can come pounding through. We have our mana fixing and mana rocks, and then we also have Bantu's Monument because it reduces the cost of most of our mono black creatures that are in the deck because of the Nazgul are a little bit cheaper, so you can chain them out. We also have a tempt package, just similar to the one I used in the commander deck, where I have things like Birthday Escape, Call of the Ring, Claim the Precious, Ring Sight, Sauron's Ransom, and Inherited Envelope. These things are all basically things that go, okay, when the spell does its thing, it's also going to give you a Ring Temp trigger, which will then trigger the Nazgul to put counters on things. And speaking of the Nazgul, these are all of our Wraiths or Wraith wannabes that are in the deck. So we have things like Changeling Outcast. This thing is unblockable. It gets counters off of the the Nazgul coming into play, and you just keep slamming through that way. We have Universal Automaton. It's a changeling, so it's a Wraith. We have the 9 Nazgul going through here. We have the Bloodline Pretender, which counts as a Wraith if you name Wraith when it comes into play. So every time a Wraith comes into play after that, it gets a counter. It gets 2 if you have a Nazgul trigger as well. We have Faceless Agent. This thing will go get a Wraith out of the deck. And for the most part, it's going to go after, because it looks at the line and goes, it's a shapeshifter on the changelings and stuff. So it's going to, most likely, it's going to grab you a Nazgul when it comes down. Really, the only other thing it's going to get you is the Witch King of Angmar. I thought I had the Bringer of Ruin in here, but I guess I didn't put him in this build. So, Graveshifter, it's a changeling. It counts as a Wraith, and it can get one of our creatures back from the graveyard that dies. Masterwork Nexus turns anything that's not a Wraith on our side into a Wraith, but since we have mostly things that we can name Wraith, that's not the important part here. The important part here is to pay 3 and pump 2/2 Wraith tokens off of its ability. And then we have the Witch King of Angmar. This is really good in the deck. 3 black, 5/3 flyer that whenever one of your opponents deals combat damage to you with a creature, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt you combat damage. So if they're only swinging with one creature, that creature's dead. Regardless if it hits you, it's gone. And then it also has discard a card, Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible until end of turn, and tap it. Plus, with the damage trigger, you also get a Ring Temptation as well, making all of your Wraiths bigger as long as you have one of the Nazgul alongside of it. So this card, every time I've played it, has been exceedingly good in the deck. And then this is what I call the extra Nazgul, or ways of getting extra Nazgul in the deck. We have things that either blink our stuff out of play, like Essence Flux. We have ways of conjuring extra copies, like Sinister Reflections. So if you have 2 Nazgul down, you can conjure 2 copies of it into your hand. Time Twist to blink stuff out. We have clones like Glasspool Mimic and Mirror Image. You can clone your Nazgul. We also have Displacer Kitten. So every time you cast a non-creature spell, you can blink a Nazgul and you're going to get an additional Ring Temp trigger off of it. We also have Orvar the All Form. Since we have so many blink and cloning type stuff going on in the deck, this will get us some extra copies of Nazgul as we target them with our instance and sorcery stuff. So as we're blinking, or if we're using things like Quasi-Duplicate or Irenicus's Vile Duplication or something like that, it's going to give us an additional copy of those cards. And then we also have Spark Double in here, so we can either clone a Nazgul, or we can clone one of our legendary creatures. We can get a second Mouth of Sauron to do milling and more Orc Army stuff. We can get a second Witch King of Angmar if we need it. There's a bunch of functions that this thing can serve for us. And then the last column is just kind of like, I didn't really have a category for it. So we have Scroll of the Sealed Door. You can steal an artifact from an opponent as long as you control this particular saga, and then the ring tempts you, so it's a ring tempt card. But, I mean, it's basically there as that. But then it also has tapping creatures down and stun countering them, so you can kind of control your opponent's creatures and then draw cards for each tapped creature they have. The best thing I've tried to do with this, and I lost the game, and it was just kind of a semi-blowout, so I didn't include it in the video. I took somebody's One Ring and kept it for myself and used it, and then promptly died soon after. And then we have the Palantir of Orthonc. Since we have the ability to bring back our stuff with a couple of the mass reanimation spells, such as Haunting Voyage and Command the Dreadhorde, this is kind of nice to mill, and if our opponents are like, I'm going to let you have the cards, you can just start burning them with some of the spells that are coming off the deck. Plus, it also helps with the amass triggers that are coming off of some of our other things going on in the deck. And then the land base is pretty straightforward. Let me slide this over. It's blue-black, all the duels. Command Tower, Forsaken Crossroads. We also have Otawara and Takanuma in here because they serve some good functions in here. 13 Islands and Swamps, and then I also have a Mutavault in here because you can turn a Mutavault on with a colorless and it becomes a Wraith because it has all creature types. So then it can gain all the counters off of your Nazgul tricks that you're trying to do and things like that. I have yet to draw it in a game, so I'm not 100% certain if this is a good enough card to use in here, but I decided to throw it in here for that reason. With that said, let's get to the gameplay and we'll talk about it more after. Aragorn the Uniter. Okay. I have not yet played against this. So, alright, we do have a Nazgul in hand, and we do have a Glorious Gale in hand. So I'm kind of tempted to just go ahead and keep this. We also have a cloning spell. All we need is another blue to make the Nazgul work for us. I'm going to go ahead and play Otawara just for a blue source, and I'm going to foretell this, because there's nothing coming out right now that the Glorious Gale needs to hit. I would rather counter Aragorn when it comes out. Because I know how these multicolored decks usually operate. They go with, like, ramp and color fixing first. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the Phyrexian Reclamation because I don't have anything else I can do. I didn't draw the blue and I didn't draw another mana to play Spark Double. So we're just kind of stuck sitting and waiting on that. But I can Essence Flux if I need to. Alright, there's a Changeling Outcast. That's not bad. So let's just go ahead and swing. End of turn. I'm going to probably Essence Flux the Nazgul just to get counters on the Outcast. Unless they try to kill the Outcast, then I might blink it anyways. Or I could blink... I could let it go because Phyrexian Reclamation can get it back too. It's kind of half of one dozen of another. Let's save that. Alright, Slip Out the Back's pretty good here. So let's just go ahead and, let's see, they don't have 4 mana open, so we're okay there. Let's go ahead and swing. Like, you always have to watch out for, like, Settle the Wreckages and Wandering Emperors and stuff like that. I always look for 4 mana, including 2 white. Now, they're currently locked out of Aragorn, so I'm not overly concerned there. Let's go ahead and blink the Nazgul now, just to get us another level of Ring Tempt going so we can draw cards off of it. We're going to make the Outcast the Ring Bearer. Alright, there's our blue we needed. Alright, so let's just swing. The Palantir. Yeah, we'll ditch the Palantir. I'm not concerned there. And I don't want to leave Aragorn open to coming out off of a land hit. They're missing a green or a red over there, so they can't cast him yet. But the Gale can hit any other big creature that might be a real problem. Like, if I see a Mondrak or something, it's getting nailed. They keep looking at their Anointed Procession, and it's like, what are you doing? Alright. So there's a Grave Shifter. So the question becomes, I don't think I do that. I'm not going to leave myself open to this. I think I'm just going to sit on the counter spell for their creatures. And I have protection as well. We're going to discard the Grave Shifter, because I don't have anything else to get with it. So, alright, this is where we do Slip. That's a no. Alright, and we still have the mana open for the Glorious Gale. So if they go to cast something that I don't like, then... And the cool part there about removing the target, yeah, that's a no. No mana fixing for you. The cool part about removing the target is then it doesn't go into the adventure zone, so then you can just go ham. So, trying to think here. What do I do here? It's like, do I ring sight? Do I spark double? Or do I just copy something? I think I just copy the Nazgul, to be honest. That can be the ring bearer. Ooh, and it's going to get through and hit. I think that kills them. I just realized we hit level 4 on the ring tempt. Whoops. Edgar. Okay. We have vampires. Alright, let's see here what we get. Okay, we do have a Nazgul, we do have a clone, and we have mana rocks. We're going to keep this. I kind of like what we have here. Now, things get blown up, that might throw me off a little bit, and it might make me regret keeping this, but we'll see. So, we'll go ahead and drop this on black, because we're missing the, we'll go with that. Hello. Because we're missing some of the key stuff we have in the deck. Alright, let's go with Signet. And so we have this ready to roll. I think we're going to continue to ramp, though, especially if we get a land. Because we can go Mindstone and drop the Nazgul, too. Or we could just wait. Because we might end up having to play that Glass Mimic as a land. Okay, we did get the land. I think we're going to play the Nazgul and keep the Essence Flux up. And just pass. Not blocking. If they want to spend their mana pumping that, I don't care. Okay, it's just a Paladin of Atonement. No big deal. I just have to keep these Nazgul alive. Alright, so we're going to Glasspool Mimic. We're going to copy the Nazgul. We'll get double temp triggers. Keep that as the ring bearer. Swing for the face. Alright, that's a land. Let's drop the Mind Stone. We don't need it now. I should have dropped that land. I didn't realize it was holding it up, but that's okay. Alright, there's Edgar. We still have the Essence Flux, so I can actually block whatever I want to block, and then Essence Flux the Nazgul out of the way. Do I do that now? It's like I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. I don't think I do that right now. I think what I do is actually swing wide and drop the... I think I dropped the swamp, actually. Because I like all the stuff that's in my hand, because I can either blink something, or I can do this. So they just took the damage, so we're going to have a double ring, or ring Tempshu triggers. These are going to go bigger. There's a lot of things that are going to happen here. I don't care. Oh, it's a River's Rebuke. That's wonderful. You can just keep on staying as the thing. And that's what, 11 damage? Alright. We'll end the turn. So if they decide to try and board wipe us here, I have an Undying Malice for one of the Nazgul. I have an Essence Flux if I want it. Like if they decide to try to blow something up, I have some options. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take it. Resolve. I don't really need, like, a bunch of stuff. Like, because we're just doing this. We're just repeating all their crap back to their hand and swinging for 11. Like, we don't have to get too fanciful here. Harbin. Alright, so we have a soldiers trying to run us over as quickly as they can type scenario. We do have a Witch King, though, which is nice. I haven't drawn him yet, so let's try this. We'll drop that first. Let's go double black with that. Feign Death I like, we'll keep. That way we can try to get a protection behind the Nazgul when we drop it down. Set this to blue, so we have another black in our hand. So next turn it's probably Nazgul with a Feign Death backup. We also have Fading Hope, so that's good. Actually, crap. Auto Tapper got me. So I might be bouncing that thing back to my hand if they try to destroy it. Or exile it. So this might actually work, accidentally worked out for me, because white's pretty good at exiling. Alright. I'm actually gonna bounce the Siege Veteran back to their hand. I'll keep that. No need to let them get counters on Harbin. It just makes them waste a turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and swing. We'll drop the Witch King of Angmar. We'll make them, you know, debate themselves. We can discard things to make him indestructible, so they can't destroy it. They have to exile it. We could ditch the Feign Death. Okay, so we're playing that instead of another creature. Now, if they swing Harbin at me, the ring tempts, and they lose their creature. So they can't swing at me with Harbin right now. Like, I would take the damage and then just let it die. Because this thing eats creatures that deal combat damage. And then we get a ring temps, and then they would all get bigger. So it's a win-win-win for me. Alright, so they have a Plains. Now, the worst thing that could happen, and I'm probably going to will this into... Okay, they didn't play it. They said the worst thing that could have happened is they could have played a Plains out of their hand and then cast Swords to Plowshares on the Witch King, and then I would have just been like, Ooh, that's spicy. But let's get it. You can stay being the ring bearer. Charge! We're gonna discard the... We're gonna discard the ring sight. I don't want to lose the Haunting Voyage just in case they have a Wrath effect. Because we could just lose our whole board this next turn. That's not indicative of that, though, because they didn't block the Witch King. Of course, if they do that blocking maneuver, I could just feign death one of the Nazgul and discard the Haunting Voyage to the Witch King to make it indestructible. Now, if they have Farewell, I'm screwed. Sunfall as well. Either one of those cards makes me just want to cry. Because there's no coming back from that. Okay. So we have the Resistance Squad. And a Valiant Veteran. Okay. There's a land. What do I do with that? I'm trying to think of how I want to handle this, but... Yeah, screw it. Send them all. Alright, we're gonna pitch the... No, not the Feign Death. We're gonna pitch the Swamp. We'll see how the blocks go. Okay, there's one. That's 11 damage. They're double blocking a Nazgul. Okay. I'm just gonna Feign Death that one. So it's coming back, and the Witch King is gonna get a little bigger. And we're getting another attempt trigger. So this must mean they have a removal, or at least a board wipe of some sort. We're gonna make a little guy a ring bearer. End of turn. If it's a destruction spell, the Witch King lives. If it's a exile spell, we're dead. Or at least he's dead. Of course, I could just let it go and then use Haunting Voyage to bring everything back. So... But they are in blue as well, so that's kind of a dangerous proposition. So if they go to destroy the Witch King, I'm going to pitch the Haunting Voyage to it, only for the fact that counterspells are probably present in that deck, and I don't want a chance losing the Haunting Voyage to a counterspell. You need a flying blocker, or the Witch King will eat your face. Come on. Are we salt roping? Is that what this is? Alright. So they have burned all their time out salt roping us for a good 2-3 minutes now. Ivy. Ugh. That's something. This deck usually just drives me bat crap crazy. We're going to keep it because I do have options here. I have a lot of ways to kill Ivy. I have a lot of ways to just wipe out all their targets. Because the key to beating an Ivy deck is just to flatten the Ivy into the ground as quickly as possible. We're going to untap. We're not going to scry. I want the Outcast on the board. Because right now I have a Finality of Eternity. If I get a second black source, I really only need, because it goes after the toughness, I really only need like 1 black mana and a island to nuke 2 things in one go. Because if they don't build up Ivy right away, I could just be like, blang, 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 goodbye. And if I get to 2, I can nuke that Slitherblade too. Alright. Because I'm not sure how this is gonna go. So we're not gonna commit anything else to the board right now. I'm not gonna kill anything else right now. Because we might have to languish the board and reset. Depending on what they do here. Okay, so they have 2 mana open. If I get a black, I can Finality of Eternity for 1. Dang it, didn't get it. Okay. Well, that's a pain in the butt. So, we're going to do this. We're going to discard a card, target Ivy, and we're going to discard our Dive Down. Because they have less straight removal than a black deck or a red deck, so we don't really need that so much. See, that's what I'm trying to do, is force them, because if I would have targeted one of the other creatures, then they could have targeted the creature and then put a counter on Ivy and the creature. The thing is to go after Ivy as hard as you can. Alright, so we got Aggressive Urge. I really, 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 really need a black mana right now so that I can languish this board before Ivy and the Slitherblade get out of range. You're not a black mana. What the heck? Okay. Well, that is a real treat. So we're gonna Sauron's Ransom at the end of their turn, or in a response to something. It depends on what they do here. And if I see a black mana sitting on one of the on that one pile, it's gonna be in my hand. They didn't bulk up, so they either have something instant in their hand, or they have nothing. Or they're just sitting on their mana because they think I have something. Alright, we're going to play Sauron's Ransom. I mean, it's not a hard counter. Okay, that takes that out of the deck. Let's swing at them right now. No counter? Pretty please? They could have something to bulk up the stuff big enough to get it out of range. I'm not sure. What? I was gonna say, that doesn't work. It only targets opponent stuff. Yeah, I think they were thinking they were going to bounce their stuff back to their hand, and they couldn't do that because it says target or opponent's target creature. Whoops. Uh-oh. That's a problem. That's got to die. I mean, we'll take one more hit, but if they hit me with it, they get to sacrifice it. And I have plenty of things to throw at it to keep it alive. Actually, I don't even need to take the hit. I'll just throw the Witch King in front of it. Cancel. Pass to blockers. Thanks. Have a nice day. We'll go ahead and pitch the ransom. I mean, they know about it. We don't need it at this point. Alright. So, got nothing in the yard. I think I just hit them both right now for one. And just shank both of them. Because again, the way to beat an Ivy deck is keep Ivy off the board. Plus, the Witch King makes a very tenuous situation. Yeah, you can pay your 6 for your Ivy and whatnot, and you can hit me, but if you do, you sacrifice it. So, with the Graveshifter in hand, though, I think Mouth of Sauron is going to be our next play, unless I draw a Nazgul off the top. Okay, did not. Alright, so we're going to play the Mouth of Sauron. What do we got in my yard? We got several. Yeah, we're going to target ourselves. No Nazgul. And that's fine. We're going to swing. Now, this could leave me open to just getting blown out by a monstrous, like, enchantment that gives, like, +7/+7 in trample or something like that. It's a gamble, though. If they got it, they got it. If they don't, they don't. But if they swing and they don't have it, Ivy dies. Okay, it's 3-2. They also really can't afford to swing because I have lethal on my side of the board. Don't do it. Oh, you did it. You should not have done that. Bye, Ivy. I don't think they read the card, to be honest. The little guy. Alright. So, yeah. I'm just gonna swing wide. They have to bounce something or put something in front of the Witch King at this point. Alright, it's a 3-1. That's fine. I can throw something on the Witch King just to make it indestructible, which I think is going to be Mystic Reflection. Alright, and let's go ahead and drop the Unblockable Outcast, and we'll end the turn. I could have quasi-duplicated the Mouth of Sauron just to get another mill trigger or got another army on the board, but eh. So that worked out pretty good, and I'm very happy for kicking Ivy in the teeth. Is Rocco... Ooh, okay. I mean, we don't get started until turn 3, but we have a Bloodline Pretender and 2 Nazgul in hand. I'm kind of happy with that, to be perfectly honest, because they're not playing counter magic. Oh, and we have a Tempting card. Even better. So I think Pretender into Nazgul is going to be... too bad we didn't draw that last turn. It's alright, we're still doing this. W for Wraith. Done. So then every Wraith we play, the Bloodline Pretender gets bigger. It is a Wraith, so the Nazgul puts counters on it. Is a win-win. Now, they might just burn it away. We'll see. And there you go. But honestly, oh, a third Nazgul. That's nice. We'll go ahead and play this so we get that on there, and then we'll just go ahead and drop a Nazgul. I'd rather it burn away the Bloodline Pretender than to burn away one of the Nazgul. Alright, so they're probably going to exile one of the Nazgul. I mean, there's no... I wouldn't think there's any reason to not do it. Oh, no, they took the ransom. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm going to drop another Nazgul on the board. You can stay being the ring bearer. I could have cast the other one, but I'm not going to overextend into that. I'm actually going to discard... This is so stupid. I'm going to discard the other Nazgul and keep that for a blocker. Yeah. That was actually pretty good for us. Even though it was like 3 CMC the hand, it was actually perfect for us. Alright, so what are they playing? Are they playing Reanimator, or are they playing a deck like ours? Let's see what we got here. So we have a Nazgul, we have a Command the Dreadhorde. I'm going to keep this. We'll go Temple of Deceit. Ooh, River's Rebuke's kind of nice to have. We're going to keep the lands in the thing. We'll say hello back. We'll play this tap. No need to blast ourselves. Corrosion. Okay. Well, that might make that Command the Dreadhorde nice. So let's go ahead and just get the Nazgul rolling. Probably... Oh, we lost our Nexus. Okay. We'll discard Feign Death. I think at this point I'm just going to use this to copy the Nazgul, get another trigger, and just go trucking through. That would get me another Nazgul. Let's drop... We're actually going to drop the Inherited Envelope, because I would much rather have the Faceless Agent and the Island. Command the Dreadhorde's going to be kind of funny. Alright, so if I do that, blah, 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 blah. Ring Sight would get me one as well, and it would tempt the ring. I think I'm playing this, just because it gives me another Wraith on the board, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to get a Nazgul. Because it's either going to give me the Nazgul, or it's going to give me... We're actually going to ditch the Ring Sight, because I'd rather keep these two, and I do not want to discard a River's Rebuke. But at this point, the only other thing it would have given me is the Witch King of Angmar, or the Witch King Bringer of Ruin. That's it. Okay, so they just exiled my Nazgul. That makes me not happy. But there's a big but attached to that. What we can do is just go ahead and drop another Nazgul. We'll make that the Ring Bearer. And I'm going to Cackling Counterpart, and I'm going to make another one. Because I can do that. And same thing. Smash! We'll discard that, because that's useless. I'm not entirely... What? Okay, you let the thing that hits you for more damage through. I got news for you. And I got a Nazgul. We'll make that guy better. Why not? This has so far been the best that this deck has done. I think we're going to end it on that, because that was the nuttiest Nazgul Orama we've had so far. I like it. This deck's actually a lot of fun to play. So what did you guys think? I had a lot of fun playing this deck. It was kind of, especially that last game, was hilarious. It was just how big the Wraiths can spiral out of control. If you just get the right draw, this thing can snowball really hard, really quick, and your opponents just cannot recover from it. I'm all ears. Let me know if you think there's something I should replace in this deck, bearing in mind that this is for the Historic Brawl format, not Commander. Let me know what kind of cards that are on the client you would replace in the deck, what you would add in. But the only thing I'm really not sure about in this is Mystic Reflection. Pretty much every time I drew this card, I pitched it to either the Witch King or I pitched it to some other discard effect that might have gotten hit by your opponent on me. It just didn't do enough. I think if I was doing things that were non-wraith creatures in the deck that I wanted to cast, or if I had a token generator in here, such as Gulcaller Gisa or something like that, I think that this would be actually kind of interesting because you could sack a Nazgul that's already pumped up with the Gulcaller Gisa, and then in response to the activation, you could cast Mystic Reflection, and all those zombie tokens would come in as a copy of a Nazgul instead. So it's kind of a catch here. You really want a big, wide token generator to get this thing to really do a lot of work for you. But otherwise, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.